Tom Marone. I'm the regional manager for Masonic. So I just thought I'd come in and do this the first time to, since I've been able to do quite a few of these out there. Just real quick, everyone's wondering why the change. So the old console that you're probably familiar with is has been around for probably 15 to 20 years. And we've really run out of the ability to do anything with it to upgrade it. So we've come out with an end of use letter and this new system where the old one is analog. Sometimes if you're in cases and the surgeon pushed too hard, it would stop and you'd have to reset it. This new system is digital. This new system is also a neural aspirator built into it, so that's why it's significantly bigger than the other one. So the setup though on this is actually as easy, if not easier, than the old one. It's just more, I think, user-friendly also for someone who maybe doesn't see it on a frequent basis. So as you can see on the screen here, everything here is pretty much, these here, as you progress, you'll see little green boxes being checked. So you know every time you do one of the setup steps, the machine will actually show you that you've done it. So the kit here, the new kits are going to be much larger. The reason being that tubing is inclusive in these kits now versus if you remember the old ones, the disposable tip was in one, the tubing was in the other. So these tips, these are all inclusive in here. The circulator actually will peel this off. There's a handle that comes out that the scrub would grab the handle and lift everything out and put it on the Mayo stand. So as you can see here, there's these two hockey pucks which all go in. The tips are in here and the tubing is all in this kit right here. So with that, here's our tubing. Now this is just a demo bag for saline, but your tubing would look like this, or very similar to it. All you're going to do is you're going to take these hockey pucks. These are magnetic. They're two sizes. You can't put them on wrong. They go right here. And what you'll see on this box is every time you do something right, the light changes from green to blue. Blue to green, sorry. So you can see here, it goes here, you put the tubing in here, just like you would in the other one, put it down, the light changes to green. So every step here that goes from setup to is, now you'll also see here on the screen, you'll see that it realizes that the pump is connected. You also realize that the tubing is in place. So you've got these two already set to go. Now you'll see that the handpiece itself and the tray looks identical to what you had in the past. The difference is the end piece that plugs in is a little different. It's got a cap now on it. You're going to have to, on this cap, you'll pull back. There's a little bit, maybe about a 1/4 inch play of pulling back, and this cap comes off. This cap is just protective for that here. I'd recommend that after you're done with the case, if you can remember to put it back on. We'll also, when we go into SPD, we'll make sure that they know that before this thing is cleaned that the cap goes back on. Also putting on the cap, the plug-in, it's red dot to red dot. As you can see here, blue light again. Once it's in, goes green light. Now you're here at this point, that means that you're ready to prime. And it's just a matter of hitting the button after you've spiked the bag with saline like you've done in the past. And then you'll hear the pump going. Now what'll happen majority of the time is once it comes out the end, the tip will shut off automatically. If it doesn't, just hit the pause. And you got this white button here. Now, here you're just about ready to roll. If you remember on the old one, you still had to push a button to get the finalized to start going. The same with this one. Unless the numbers are all full colored, it's not going to work. It's only going to pump saline. So then it's just a matter of hitting this, and now you're ready to roll. So this is how it goes. Now the screen on this one is also adjustable by fingertip. If you remember, the other one it looked like you were controlling the fingertip, but you didn't. This one you actually had to use these buttons down below. With that, you also have two options here. This is, as it was traditional, this is the foot pedal 100% on, 100% off. This is like a gas pedal effect. So if the surgeon wants to go in and use a gas pedal to kind of float the power. So with that, a couple of key differences too. Our foot pedal is Bluetooth wireless. So one of the key things to know is this little up here in the left corner would be, if it's green on the foot pedal, you know the foot pedal is connected and you're good to go. The foot pedal just runs on a regular AA battery. So nothing special, no special batteries are needed, no lithium, it's just right out of store, ever ready, AA. How you put it in is on the back here. I will say, the one thing is this batteries, we recommend putting a AA battery somewhere on the cart, just taping down there. The battery does power down, we don't have any preset time. So, troubleshooting. What's going to happen with this thing in the OR? I can tell you, with all the cases I have, the machine itself runs great. Knock on wood, we've never had any problems. The problem with is just the connection of this to the machine, and it's nothing urgent. A majority of the time, it's the battery that just goes dead, and you don't know it until you turn it on, and these two aren't connected. Or sometimes the Bluetooth doesn't work. Either way, it's a very simple resolve. So, I just want everyone to see here. I'm going to take the battery out. So where you would go from here is the screen's not here, or you hear that beep. This gear button down in the bottom right, to access to connect it, you have to unplug the handpiece, and you'll go here to this button here. Now you see here, there's a screen, and you've got 3 words. You've got connected, paired, or paired. So if it has that green dot paired, all that means is you just need a new battery. That's all it means. It means that the Bluetooth is connected. It just doesn't have the power to talk to each other. Sometimes, if you put even a weak battery in here, it may initially connect, or it'll say paired, but batteries, that if it doesn't have enough power to reach the Bluetooth, these two to connect, you'll just need to put a fresh battery in. If there are no green dots lit, then you'll have to go through and actually pair this thing to this. And again, very simple. It's just a matter of hitting this button here, and then there is a black button on top here, and this is all in the IFU. I've also actually have placards that can go with it, so for quick reference, because usually this only happens at like 10 to 2 a.m. is when the battery goes out. So there are some quick references here for someone who's in the middle of it at 2 a.m. and needs it. But you would just take, after you put a new battery in, then you would just take this, and you've got this little steel, it looks like a button, but it's not. You just take this, and you actually hold it. There's a little indentation, it looks like that right there, on the side here, if you can see it. You kind of see up in this upper corner, that's where you'll connect your Bluetooth. And it's just a matter of holding this to that right there, and then pushing this button, and you'll hold this black button here for 20 seconds, and then it'll connect. It usually takes somewhere between 10 and 20 seconds for it to connect. If it doesn't happen, just do it again. But that's the only I should say issue is when this becomes unconnected. But 9 times out of 10, if that green light in the middle says paired, it's just a battery. That's all it is. Any questions? The trays themselves look identical. There's no, what you saw before in the past, identical tray. You've got the 2 wrenches. You've got
they had wire baskets before.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, if it didn't, so you've got these trays now. They just have spots for it, so you know exactly where it is. You got the counter torque and the regular wrench. The hand pieces look a little bit different. The reason being is we redesigned this area back here. What's happened was in the past with the old version, water during cleaning would get back here, and so we'd see cracking in this down the road. This one with this back end, we've seen that really there's a minimal loss. So where most institutions are going through about 2 of these a year, we haven't seen any breakage whatsoever in over a year and a half in this design. Again, real quick, as far as putting the tips on, it's always use the wrench and the counter torque wrench. I know sometimes it's tempting, especially not so much in the OR, but down in SPD, they'll use, if they can't get it off, they'll use some sort of vice grip or anything like that. Once this plastic has been damaged, it's no longer valid, and the handpiece has to be replaced. That's about it. Any questions?
How hard is it to get an extra foot pedal, or do you include some of those? Because I can see that disappearing very fast too.
So that's a great question in a sense that every foot pedal is individually paired to it. So if a hospital would want one, we could surely sell one to them. But like there's one here and there's one at Women's and Children's. You can't interchange the foot pedals. They are programmed to the console themselves. What I'd recommend is two things. Is on this cart here is I'm gonna Brenda this. We'll take out these fins that are for the old product, and you'll make space for the foot pedal so that it always goes back here. But yeah, that's I can see that getting lost. The other thing is, this doesn't have to be on this hook here. This is an attachment. This is kind of a lift your foot, move it kind of thing. If you want to take it off, just the 4 screws, then it makes it easier to slide it on the cart, either or. So it's just an option that if the hospital wants to have the foot pedal on here, or the foot hook is there. Any other questions? Other than that, the Bonescalpel itself, what you'll see is it's less quiet or less noisy. If anyone's been in the room, that high pitched, someone could say irritating sound, you won't see that with a digital one. I think it's because there's more power going to the handpiece. One of the differences, the digital reads what the surgeon needs 1,000 times a second, and so with that, it's pushing more power to it. And where the analog one, it didn't have that ability, and that as the surgeon pushed harder on it, that's usually when the elevation of the screeching sound happened. So this one, you'll see a lot less of that. It's significantly quieter. The surgeon's not going to have the problem of powering it out. We haven't seen anyone go so hard in it with a Bonescalpel that he has to stop, pull it out, and redo it. So anyone who's in those rooms is going to have the pleasure of not having that problem, especially the high-pitched screech that sometimes came with the old one. That's it for me, unless there's any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.